Hello viewers, today we start John Milton for all the examination like teaching examination, professor, assistant professor, KVS, NVS, TGT, PGT and all the state government program which is having professor level and all this. The first question is, which poet made illustration for El Pensero? ब्लैक इल्यूस्ट्रेशन का मतलब होता है चित्रण, मतलब एल पेंसरो पर चित्रण किसने प्रस्तुत किया, तो वो है आपके विलियम ब्लैक. विलियम ब्लैक मेड इल्यूस्ट्रेशन फॉर एल पेंसरो इज रिटन बाय बिलेटेड एलिजाबेथन पोएट जॉन मिल्टन. एल पेंसरो मीन्स द थॉटफुल मैन. विच टाइप ऑफ मिल्टन which text of Milton does not follow the line appear thou can not touch for freedom of my mind. ठीक है, दैट्स कॉमर्स. कॉमर्स इज ए मॉसिक्यू इन द ह्यूमर ऑफ क्रेस्टिनी रिटन बाय जॉन मिल्टन. फेमस लाइन दाउ कांट नॉट टच द फ्रीडम ऑफ माई माइंड अपीयर इन द मॉसिक्यू. जॉन मिल्टन स्टडीड एट कैम्ब्रिज. John Milton was born on 9 December 1608, bred estate Cheapside in London. He studied at Cambridge. University. He was an English poet and intellectual who served as a civil servant for the Commonwealth, England. The famous epic Paradise Lost by Milton contained 12 books. The main factor which is having in Paradise Lost, it's having 12 books. It is an epic in blank verse. First version of the epic was published in 1667, contained 10 books. 7 और 10th बुक को फिर से 7th फिर से मतलब ब्रेक करके 2 बुक और बना दी गई. ठीक है. Second edition of the epic followed by 1674, arranged into 12 books. Which of the following poem is not composed by John Milton? देखिए, ऑन इज ब्लाइंडनेस है, एल पेंसेरो है, एलिग्रो है, बट ट्रू लव इज नॉट composed by John Milton. It is composed by William Shakespeare, which is a sonnet number 116. True love is a sonnet number 116. Whether other option is same. Yeah. Who is at once the child of Renaissance and the Reformation? Milton. John Milton is known as the child of Renaissance and Reformation. He is born in 1608 and died in 1674. He was written many things in English literature, as on the morning of Christ's nativity, on the blindness, Lycidas and Comus. Which of the following is pastoral elegy written by Milton? Lycidas. Lycidas is a pastoral elegy on the death of Edward King, written by John Milton in 1637. It first appeared in 1638 collection of elegies. Who is the following was the first to suggest the Satan in the real hero of Paradise Lost? William Black. William Black was the first who suggested that Satan is a real hero of Paradise Lost. A good deal of critical discussion has centered around the question, who is a hero of Paradise Lost? Indeed, the complexity of the question is reflected in the widely divergent view that have been held. A whole host of earlier and later critics, Goethe, Black, Shelley and Lowell, Mason to name only, made a remarkable one of the opinion that Satan is a hero. Milton composed Areopagitica in 1944. It's a prose version. What impelled Milton the Puritan to employ the mosaicue and composed commas to emphasize the virtue of an individual over debauchery in the court. Just some fact. Milton was Puritan. The Puritan were English Protestants in 16th and 17th century who sought to purify the Church of England of Roman Catholic practice. Comus Mosaicue by Milton presented on September 1634 before John Egerton, Earl of Bridgewater at Laudo Castle in Shropshire, and published anonymously in 1637. Commerce is a mosque against mosquing construction a private. Which epic convention that Milton followed in Paradise Lost is missing in this line? Novel theme, invocation of muse, development of heroic figure, beginning is a middle, a elevated style and description. Impressive, catalogus, war-like speech, supernatural machinery and the use of supernatural, and illusion, unity of action. Unity of action is a missing in epic convention that Milton followed in Paradise Lost. Unity of action refers the combination of incident which are the action of play, poem should be one. The unity of action limits the supposed action to the single set of incident which is related to as cause and effect, having a beginning, middle and the end. No scene is to be included that does not advance the plot directly. The Paradise Lost denote the action in heaven, hell and earth. Study of the line of the Milton sonnet addressed to the nightingale. Not timely sing, Ira the rude bird of hate, foretell my hopeless doom in some grove nine. Which is a rude girl of hate referred to her cuckoo. O Nightingale is also known as Milton's sonnet. It is a present the contrast between two birds, a nightingale and a cuckoo. The theme of the poem is a contrast and strife between love and hate, where love succeeds because it is a more strength than the hate. Here rude bird is referred to cuckoo. Actuarial aspects of Milton divergence from the Petrarchan sonnet traditionally concern not unemployed or occasional nature of his sonnet but also the rejection of the idyllic love poetry tradition of the Elizabethan. The crucial aspects of Milton diversion from the Petrarchan sonnet traditionally concern not only the employed on the occasional nature of the sonnet but also the rejection of elite love poetry tradition of the Elizabethan. During Milton, the time England was changing in 1630 to 1640 was the polarization of political opinions between those who supported the King Charles I and the Puritan Parliament led by Oliver Cromwell, a group of monarchist collectivity known as the Cavalier Poet, Cherry Herrick, Lovelock and Suckling. Cavalier Poet was flourished and lyricism, but Milton was apart. In which work Milton states that while the still morn went out with sandals grey. Lycidas. Lycidas is a pastoral elegy written in 1637 by John Milton and dedicated to the memory of Edward King. In the pastoral elegy, the line "while the still morn went out with sandals grey" appear. Through which work does Milton intend to justify the way of God to man? Paradise Lost. Justify the way of God to man is Paradise Lost. It is a epic composed by John Milton in a blank verse. It is first published in 1667 through the work of Milton intend to justify the way of God to man. In which work John Milton does the character Delilah appear? Samson Agonist. Samson Agonist is a tragic closet drama and published in 1671. Delilah is a wife of Samson. In the opening invocation of Paradise Lost, Oreb refers to Mr. Horret. The opening innovation of the Paradise Lost, of man's first disobedience and the fruit of the forbidden tree, of Oreb of Sinai. Here Oreb refers to the God delivered to the 10 commandment of Moses either on Mount Horeb or the nearby Mount Sinai. Here the throughout Milton used the vulgate form of biblical name. In the state of his blindness, whose Milton does the compare himself, Lycidas. In the state of blindness, Milton does not compare himself, Lycidas, who is often called the political son of Spenser. John Dryden called Milton as a political son of Spenser. John Dryden को क्या कहा जाता है? The political son of Spenser. John Dryden is called Milton. Milton को John Dryden ने क्या कहा? The political son of Spenser. मतलब ये स्पेंसर का बच्चा है, political son है, राजनीतिक पुत्र है. Poetical है, sorry, is not political. Poetic मतलब कवि वाला पुत्र है. What the following is mismatched with refers to John Milton work. Aeropagitica. Aeropagitica is a prose work by John Milton published in 1644. Which of the following is a pastoral elegy? Juno elegy. Duino elegy. ठीक है, Duino elegy. Pastoral elegy which is represent the poet of the one of the morn who is usually a poet. A Shepherd. The poetic form was originated by Syrian Greek poet Theocritus. Milton Paradise Lost take a theme for St. Luke Gospel. Milton Paradise Reason first published in 1671 in 4 books, long and comprised 65 lines. Paradise Reason take its theme from St. Luke Gospel. Gospel of Luke is one of the 4 Gospels of the New Testament of Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, who remark about his father as given below. My father destined me from my infant to the study of polite literature, which is embraced with such avidity that from of age of 12 I hardly even retired from my books before midnight. John Milton. Okay, and which of the following work is not written by John Milton? तो ऑफ एजुकेशन इनका है, एरोपेगेटिका है, ऑन शेक्सपियर है. बट एल्मा और द प्रोग्रेस ऑफ द माइंड इज नॉट द वर्क ऑफ जॉन मिल्टन. इट इज द लॉन्गेस्ट ह्यूमरस पोएम बाय मैथ्यू प्रीरियर. Matthew Predier 1664 to 1725, who is an English poem and diplomat and also known as a contributor to the Examiner. The Examiner was the newspaper editor by Jonathan Swift. Which of the following work is not written by John Milton? Passionate Pilgrim is not written by John Milton. है क्या क्या ये भी देख लो आप पहले. On his blindness है, on the late misuse of Pindemont है, और नेक्स्ट आपका है ऑफ द मॉर्निंग क्राइस्ट नेटिविटी. द पैसिनेट पिलग्रम इज नॉट अ वर्क ऑफ जॉन मिल्टन. इज द एंथोलॉजी ऑफ 20 poems collected and published by William Jagard, who is attributed by William Shakespeare on the title page. Which of the following statement is true about Milton's sonnet on his blindness? Milton did not give the title of his sonnet. The title on his blindness is given the later anthologies. Which of the following statement is incorrect to refer to John Milton? Samson Agonist is a form of no unity of time, place and action. Samson Agonist is a verse drama. Samson Agonist is a verse drama by John Milton based on biblical story in the written in blank verse and published in 1671 by Milton. Samson Agonist is a form of unity and time and place and action. Who according to Milton is on his blindness does one best serve God by submitting of his will quality. On his blindness is a John Milton famous sonnet. This sonnet is written in Italian pattern. According to the sonnet, by submitting to the will quality does one Best served God. Milton's first work is On the Morning of Christ's Nativity. It's written in 1629 and published in his poem of John Milton. Paradise Lost 1667, Samson Agonis 1678 and Defensio Senada 1654. John Milton Lycidas, Matthew Arnold Thyresis is an example of a pastoral elegy. Pastoral elegy represents both the poet and the one of the mourn who is usually also poet as a shepherd. Milton Lycidas and Matthew Arnold Thyresis is a pastoral elegy. In the Lycidas Milton mourn for the Edward King and Matthew Arnold Thyresis is a mourn for Arthur Hughes Cott. Which of the following poem did Milton write in octosyllabic couplet? El Pensario. It's written in octosyllabic couplet. 1645 to 46 quarto version. The poem of Mr. John Milton, both English and Latin, published by Humphrey Moseley ने इसे पब्लिश किया. एल पेंसारो को किसने कहा? Humphrey Moseley. The Ferrars bottomless prediction occur in the John Milton is Book 1. Paradise Lost is written between 1668 to 1665 and published in 1667 with 10 books. Later it became 12 books in 1674, written by John Milton. The above Ferrars appeared in the Book 1, line 47. It appeared that the Paradise Lost 1 Milton belonged to the devil party without knowing it. Who among the following made this statement? William Black. In the William Black, who observed that Milton belonged to the devil party without knowing it, the remark implied that Milton unconsciously glorified Satan, especially in Book 1. What is an allegro companion piece called? It's called allegro is a pastoral elegy. मतलब इसके साथ में ये पब्लिश हुई. Identify the correct match group. El Allegro and El Pensero 1645, Lycidas 1638, Pastoral Commerce Mosque है, On His Blindness 1673, 3 sonnets हैं. It's not see Allopragetica prose tract. So here you go for the next time. So I just hope you subscribe my channel and press the bell icon and like and share the video, because it's motivate me as I am a new YouTuber, you can say. So you have to help me for promoting my video and motivate me for making a new videos. And I promise you, if you connect with me, I will full support in vocab and all this exam which is coming in upcoming time. So you just connect with me and do preparation of all these areas which he was